Also notice we'll be recording the meeting so that you can follow up at your own convenience. I'm sure we'll be doing quite a lot of hands-on activities here, so you need to follow up later on. So we'll make sure that you also get that so that you can be set. Okay, so James, you can let me know if there are people typing in the chatting area what they are looking forward to in this session. Okay, maybe you can just pick a handful and then we can start the session. Yeah, thank you so much, James. Those are very nice engagements. Yeah, so unfortunately today we'll not be doing graphic design, and due to the time concern, we'll only cover a few. So we'll look at the basic structure of how we can create websites, and it will give you a very good eye opener of how to get started if you're a beginner. So let me present my screens once again. Okay, thank you so much for participating in the icebreaker. So for this particular session, we'll do it quite different. I want us to spare like the first 40 or 35 minutes to go through the concept very quickly, and then we can have the remaining time to give assignment and then answer to any queries that you guys will raise since you want to take advantage of this time and it's not that sufficient. Yeah, so the main topics of today are introduction to HTML. I hope everyone is seeing my screen. We look at how you can create a folder structure when you want to create your website. And then we look at a very fundamental concept, that is the HTML boilerplate. So it's just a skeleton of the HTML, and every website is built on top of this. And then we look at how we can add simple things like headings, text to our website. We'll also expand more on how we can include images, links, and lists. And then finally, we'll create a small table. So tables are very nice when it comes to data presentation, and it will help you get started a lot with the HTML concept. So the first thing, hi James. Oh, sorry. Just a minute. Oh, hi James. Let me know if it's visible. Okay. Apologies for that. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, today we're going through 6 topics. We'll do an introduction to HTML, which is a language that we'll use to develop the web pages, and then we'll look at how to create folder structures when we want to create our first website. We look at the HTML skeleton structure, which we normally call the boilerplate, and it's very simple, and this is the foundation of every website. And then we look into ways of adding page headers and text in our website, and then expand it more further by including images, links, and lists. And finally, we'll create tables. So we'll define what our website is so that we can set a good foundation. So basically, our website is a collection of interlinked digital pages accessible via internet. So I'm sure everyone here today has used our website, and gmail.com is our website by itself. We have so many websites. Even most schools have websites nowadays. So for you to convey information to the public, we normally rely on our website. So if I wanted to check on Alliance High School, I can go to my internet and then access it from there, and I'll be able to see Alliance High School, what they do, some of the trainings that they offer, any contact information available there. So web pages are very important. Even as a business, you'll need a website to advertise yourself and also make people to know more about you. So our website is divided into two parts. We have the front end part of things and the back end part of things. The front end is what every user normally see. So when you go to your Facebook page and you see all those photos, that's basically the front end part of things. It's interactive with the user, and when you're designing it, it needs to be very intuitive and user-friendly. And then for us to handle things like logging in people, registering them, we need the backend side of things, which normally handles the logic. So it manages the data. It has also a database to store the sessions of the user, etc. And finally, all of these two sides are linked together, the front end and the back end, to form one working thing, which is the website, and that is the relationship. So how do you connect the front end to the back end? So if you have any question, just type it in the chat. I'll respond when we cover quite a significant amount, and then yeah, we can learn from there. So it's also good to distinguish between web pages and mobile applications. So mobile application, when you're using a mobile application, you'll be required to download an application. So you need to go maybe to Play Store and download it. But for websites, all you need to do is just to have a URL. So they are a little bit different. But you'll notice that some mobile applications also have website. An example will be Facebook. It has a mobile application that you can download. But also you can also go to your browser and access your Facebook page. So that's a distinction between the two. So we have so many websites. Maybe also in the chat area, you can list some of the websites that you have interacted with, either if it is educational or something that you use for your daily routine. Over to the next topic. So we're going to do an introduction to HTML, which is very fundamental when it comes to web development. So HTML is the foundation of web development, and it's very easy to learn. So if you're a beginner, then you are at the right place. It will not be hard. You will understand most of the concept, and through perfect practice, you'll be doing something commendable. And then finally, after learning HTML, you'll understand the structure of web pages when you use this particular language. Okay, so HTML in full stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and this is not a programming language, it is a markup language. And by that, I mean, it doesn't have any logical capabilities. So when you're doing Scratch programming, there's something called logic. So when you use an if-else statement, that is logic. So with HTML, we normally deal with the presentation aspect of things. So there's nothing complicated such as managing logic. So HTML is basically a markup language and not a programming language. So HTML normally uses a lot of tags, and you'll see in the coming slides, when you want to put things like headings, paragraph, images, and links, you need to use tags so that you can structure web pages very well. And I'll show you in a few. So for you to get started, you need several tools. First of all, you need a text editor, and you are required to download a Visual Studio Code. So I hope most of you have downloaded the VS Code. Kindly put a +1 on the chat if you already have a VS Code. +1 on the chat. so that you can see if we are good to go. Plus one on the chat, plus one on the chat. Okay, interesting. I see most of the people did the assignment right. But if you don't have, I'll give you a temporary solution so that you are not left behind. So apart from the Visual Studio Code, we can use a notepad to do a web design. So if you don't have the Visual Studio Code, you can just use the notepad, which is very easy to set up. I'll show you in a few. And then you need a web browser, and this normally comes with your computer. Mostly you'll have Microsoft Edge, or rather Chrome. I normally prefer using Chrome browser, so we can use that. And then another optional feature which we don't need today, but maybe in future if you want to advance more in this particular skill set, you can try to learn about GitHub pages. So these are hosting services where you can put your website so that people can see your code and they can interact with some of the websites that you're doing. So it's a free service. It doesn't have so many features, but it will get you there. So over to the next slide. We'll look at how to set up your project. So for you to get started with web development, first of all, you need to create a folder and you'll give it an intuitive name. You can call it My Website, and we'll do it practically. And then you need to give it a very unique name. So that is point number 2. We'll call that file an index.html. So inside the folder, My Website, we'll create an index.html file. And that enables our browser to recognize the file as a default web page, and you'll see in a few. And then finally, we'll open the Visual Studio Code or Notepad to get you started. So over to the next section. So there's a quote here I like to follow when you're learning HTML. So learning HTML is like learning the alphabet before you write your first novel. Yeah, so when you're learning this, you are learning the alphabet first of all so that we can create our web pages. So even when you're writing novels, you need to be very creative, and it's a similar thing that we'll need to employ when we are creating our websites. So that's basically that. I think we can get started with the practical side. I'll be switching between my slides and the editor. Yeah, so feel free to follow. So let me stop presenting that. So on your computer, you can just create a blank file like that. I can just right click and say new folder. I can call it my website. So we have created a folder to keep our files there. So the first step is just to create the folder. You can try to follow along, but if it is too much for you, you can try to pay attention. And because we'll have a recording, you'll be able to follow up very quickly. So inside the folder, you will create a file. So you'll go to new text document. So we can use the text document. And here, we need to delete everything. So I'll just zoom in my screen a little bit. Let me just zoom in so that everyone sees. Hope that is very visible. So we need to change everything. I'll need to rename this file. And you remember what we said from the slide, we need to call it an index.html file. And when you do that, you'll get a pop-up window asking you if you really want to do that. It's okay, you can just proceed. And by default, it will pick the default browser that you normally use. So if it is Microsoft Edge, it will show you that particular logo. So yeah, that's basically our first web page. And you can open it. You can open it in so many ways. And a good way is by right-clicking it. You can open it with your browser. You can open it with your Visual Studio Code. You can open it with your Notepad. I saw an option there. Yeah, you can edit with a Notepad, so you can go about that. But now I want us to open it with the browser so that you can see what is happening. So when I open that file, here's the file. So it's just an empty novel. As we said, we are learning alphabets to write a novel. We are learning this syntax to write now our website. So we have a completely blank website, and here now we can now start writing our code. So for good coding practices, we normally put our screen side by side like that, so that you can work very properly. And then now you can open it with your Visual Studio Code that you've already installed, or even your Notepad. So I'll just open it with the Visual Studio Code. And if you didn't have the Visual Studio Code, only open it with Notepad. So for you to put items side by side, you can try to click on Windows and maybe arrow left, Windows, arrow right. That is a simple way of getting started. Okay, so we will write a small statement to see what happens on the website whenever we write something on our index.html file. So one thing to note with the VS Code is there's an autosave feature that you normally need to set on. I don't know if you can see from my screen. Autosave is, it has a tick. So make sure when you go to this option here, they can put the entire screen, file, and when you click on file, autosave should be ticked. That will help you to stop saving the file a lot and to make sure that your website is at par with what updates you're making. Okay, so I can just write a small statement. I can say this is my first website. I am very excited. So I just wrote just a random text there, and when you refresh this, you notice that we have started writing now. We've started writing things now on our website. So I want to put a big font so that it's easier for you guys to follow through. So James, could you check if my fonts are okay, or I need to maybe zoom in a little bit? Or maybe anyone from the team?
Zoom it a bit. The words are too small.
Okay, let me try to zoom again.
That's better.
Okay, on the browser is okay? Okay, I'm seeing thumbs up. Okay. Yeah, so I just wrote a very simple statement, and you can see we have started writing our website. And one thing when it comes to HTML is that it normally it makes use of tags. So by that I mean, if I wanted to make I am very excited bolded, I'll need to use a tag. So I'll put this tag. It normally has an opening and closing. Maybe let me just open the entire screen. So I'll put that tag to show you just a simple example. Yeah, so what I've done, I have placed the words. I'm very excited. I've placed them in between this particular tag, the B tag. So you see the B tag has angle brackets, and it's closing here with a slash and angle brackets. So when you refresh on your website, notice that I am very excited is bolded. So
hello.
Hello, hi.
Hello, Elvis.
Hello.
Sorry to cut you short.
Okay.
There's someone in the chat who's lost, and they just wanted to know how you first create a file.
Okay. File creation.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we can go back there. Just put this. Yeah, so creating a file is very simple. Just open any folder that you have, and then let me just open the Tuesday folder. So open any empty folder, and then create a new folder for us to put our projects there. So you can create a new folder. Then you can say, let me call it second session. So when you make a new folder, you open it up. Yeah, and then in the new folder, just type, just create a new file. So right click and new file. The file should be named index.html. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah, so that's basically how you create the HTML file. Maybe you can let me know if you're okay now. Okay, you can see Emmanuel is okay. Roslyn rose her hand. Roslyn, you have a question?
Yes, please.
Okay.
When you create a folder, when I create, or like in my computer, I click create new. I don't see the word folder. I see a new document. I can't see folder there. Okay, it reads create new folder, bitmap, image, Microsoft text document, no folder. So how to come up with this folder?
Or when you right click, are you seeing something new? Are you seeing new?
There, yeah.
Go to new.
Yeah, I'm there.
Which options are you seeing?
Folder, shortcut, Microsoft Office, bitmap, image, contact, Microsoft Office, journal, document, PowerPoint.
Oh, you're not seeing text.
Text document, I've seen that.
Yeah, that is the pick the text.
That is the file now.
Yeah, that is a file.
Which you name index.
Yeah, index.html.
Thank you.
Okay. So I hope we're together up to there. Kindly put a +1 on the chat. I don't want to leave you behind. Okay, I'm seeing 2 +1s.
Excuse me, Elvis.
Yes, yes, sir.
I have created the text document, yes. I've written it index.html.
Okay.
But now it's text.
Yeah.
It's a link.
Okay. Yeah, it's because you still have the .text extension. You need to remove that. Yeah, so what you can do, are you seeing my screen? Let me try to zoom in a little bit. I don't know if I can zoom in. Yeah. So if I try to zoom in a little bit, you can just rename. When you rename, and go to show more option. You just rename and type just on your keyboard Control A and then backspace so that you can now write a new name, index.html. Okay, I'm seeing quite a number of you are okay. We can move forward. Yeah, so when you create that file, open it with a notepad or a Visual Studio Code. If you don't have VS Code, just use this edit with Notepad. And maybe I can open it so that those with the Notepad can see. Yeah, so when you use a Notepad, it will appear like that. So the index.html file will be there, and you can just type. You can start typing what we are doing, like that. Okay, so I'll go back to where we were at. So I'll put my screen side by side. Let me open my file once again. It's still text. Okay. Can I repeat from the creation of the text document? So look at my screen now. I'm creating the text document. So I'll click on text document, and it will give me this option. So click on in front of the text so that you erase everything. Is that clear? Yeah, so delete everything and then call it now index.html, and it will work for you. Make sure it is index, yeah, index.html. Yours doesn't need to be a Chrome picture. It can. Which browser are you using? Uh-huh. Yeah. So when you click on yes, it will become a HTML. I don't know if you got that pop-up window. Hi, Roslyn. Uh-huh. Uh, it's still just text. It's how you having the same issue. Okay, do you guys have Visual Studio Code? Okay, I was to give a solution with that. Maybe one of you to share their screen. I really want to see, though time is really going. Can you share your screen so that I can see? Oh, I see. Click yes. Oh, I see. I see. Could you open the file? Just open the file. Yeah. It's opening with Note. Kindly right click on that file again. Yeah, the first one, preferably. Let me check on your properties. Uh-huh. I'll click on change there. Yeah, it works. Yeah, so yeah, 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 that's okay, that's okay. Yeah, I hope you're okay up to there. Okay, okay, you can just double click on it. We want to open with the browser and we will use Notepad also. So put your screen to the side, Windows arrow side, Windows right arrow. Okay, just put it on the side and you open the other side with Notepad. Yeah, just open with Notepad. Yeah, so I think you're okay with that. Okay, you can stop sharing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I hope all the other people are okay up to now. Okay, okay. I can see Brenda is okay. Yeah, I hope my screen is still visible. Kindly give me a thumbs up if my screen is visible. A thumbs up if my screen. Sorry? Okay, 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 okay. Just a minute. Yes, so I'm presenting. Hope right now you can be able to see my screen. Okay, okay, okay. Let me go back to PowerPoint slides. Yeah, so from the first explanation, you remember I wrote a small paragraph and I added some tags. So basically, HTML uses a lot of tags when you're doing the typing. So you can see on my screen here, we have doc type HTML and we have several tags. So by tags, I mean those items that are in angle bracket. A similar thing that we did with the bold tag. You remember how I made that text to be bolded? Yeah, so we will do this step by step so that you guys understand. But I know programming along with me might be a little bit challenging. So maybe you can pay attention and then I'll be doing the recording. Yeah, so that we can now move with time. Yeah, so first of all, I'll just remove, just put my screen well. Let me tidy up the workspace. So if you have a notepad, no worries, you're good to go. Yeah, so first of all, the first tag is the doc type tag, doc type, exclamation HTML. So this tag enables us to, enables the computer to know that we are working with HTML5. So previously we had other types of HTML version, including HTML4, 3. It started from 1 in the year 1990s, and in 2014 they released HTML5, which we normally use. So if you want to see that you're using the new version of HTML, we use that doctype HTML tag. So this tag is not closed, it's basic by that, so you don't need to close it like the way we did with the bold tag. So another thing, we need to tell the machine that we are typing HTML. What I'm doing is creating a HTML tag which also closes, and I can press enter to create a space there for our typing. So every content will be inside the HTML tag, and then inside our website we normally partition it into two sections, the head section and the body section. So we'll have two types of tags, the head and the body tag. So just like that. So this one needs to be closed also. Yeah, like that. So one thing to notice that is we normally put all the content inside the body tag, and then for the head tag we will put our title of the website, and you'll see in a few. So basically we are creating the boilerplates of HTML. So I will show you my screen once again. Sorry, it's taking time. Yeah, so this is a boilerplate that we are actually creating. So you can see we have the head tag, we have the body and the HTML. So that is basically what we are doing. So every HTML page should have this bare minimum structure. So let us go to the programming bit. So here in the head tag, we'll put a title for our website. And one thing I want you to notice is that you see where I'm hovering my mouse, we're seeing index.html. So we want our website to have a different name. So that is where the title tag will come in. So I'll put the title here. I'll call it my website, like that. And when you refresh, you'll notice that my website appear. So if you're not seeing any changes, it might be because you didn't put this option as autosave a tick. So what you can do, you can just, whenever you add any new content in your Visual Studio Code, just save your work, Control S, and you'll be set. An alternative way of saving is go to the file and then you can save your work. So make sure that you save your work so that you can be able to see the changes. So save your work first, and then you'll start seeing the changes. Okay, so we'll cover some basic concepts when it comes to HTML. It's basically what we do in our document. So in our document, we will have headings, paragraphs, images, etc. So we can be able to do the same in a browser. So the first thing is creating heading. So for headings, we have 6 types of headings that we can use, and H1 is the largest heading that you can ever get. So let me show you H1 heading, which is the other new tag that we have learned. I'll say this is the first HTML project. Make sure that you save your work. After saving, come here and refresh. Just a minute. It's not appearing, just a minute. My laptop is a little bit slow. Let me just close that site and open it again. Sorry, my laptop is a little bit slow, but it has picked up it up. So you see we wrote our first heading and it's a little bit bigger. And what you can do, we can create other types of heading with the H1, H2 options that we got. So let me put several of these and I'll change. So the second heading will be H2. This one will be H3, H4, H5, and H6. So I want to show you the different types of headings that you'll have. So you can see on our website, we have the same content, but the intensity of the size of the text differs. So normally most websites use headings up to level 3 because they are very visible. Yeah, and yeah, so maybe for your case, you can look at your use case and try to use the headings. So to keep our work tidy, I'll remove these other headings and you can learn another concept on HTML. So basically what we've covered here is the boilerplate of HTML. You've seen how we define which type of HTML version you're using, the head section where we put our title, and also the various types of heading. So we learned something on paragraphs. So how do you put paragraphs in your HTML code? So for paragraphs, we use the p tag. So let me just do that practical activity. So after the heading, I can use the p tag. So you open it and you close it like that. Like that. And here now we can write our paragraph. So to get us started, there is a website called Lorem Ipsum. So here we can get quite a lot of paragraphs that are normally used as text fill-outs when you're creating your website. So they are italic words that will help us now create very big paragraphs. So I just take some sample text and put it inside my p tag, and you guys will see how the p tag helps us to do the paragraphing. Let me just take some text like that, and you can put inside the p tag. We can go and refresh our website. Remember, we removed those headings, and right now you can see we have a paragraph there. I can try to come up with several paragraphs. Let me pick another one. So to come up with another paragraph, I'll go to the next line in my Visual Studio Code or Notepad. The Notepad will work the same. And then I'll put P, and I'll give you the reason why we are leaving some spaces in some point. Okay, so I can put another paragraph and refresh that. Yeah, so we have another paragraph. So if you want to do paragraphing, you use the p tag to do that. James, kindly check if there are questions on the chat. Okay, so another thing is that normally in your word editor, maybe if you wanted a space in this particular section, maybe here on Omnis, let me go back to the browser and I'll zoom it a little bit so that you can follow well. So suppose I want every other item above this statement to go to the next line. In your word editor, you'll have pressed enter maybe here. So here on Omnis, I'll just do click enter. But when you refresh, you'll notice that Omnis doesn't go to the next line. So we have another tag that we'll use to do that. So what we can do, we have another tag called a break, which just doesn't close. It's like that. So it doesn't close. Just use the BR tag, and when you refresh, you'll notice that all the content after Omnis goes to the bottom. So if you want to space your website very well, then you use the break command. So another thing that we need to learn is we can decorate our texts a lot, such that we can make use of bolds, we can use italics, and we can underline our text. So there are several tags that we can use for that. So let me put the first item to be bold. So I'll use the B tag. And then I'll take all of these items and put them inside the B tag. Like that. So when you refresh, notice that seed art is not bolded. So right now with the B tag, we have bolded it. Another thing that we can do, we can underline another statement. So let me underline this particular statement here. So I'll just create a tag. So this is a U tag, U for underline, and it normally closes. I can pick that item and put it inside the underline section. And then you can refresh your website and you will see it appearing. You can just get rid of this. Yeah, like that. So for you to tidy your work, you can use all these tags. We can also use italics. Maybe in the next items, like this one, let me italize this. So what I need to do, I'll use I as another tag. So I'll just take the text like that, and we can refresh the browser, and you notice that it's italicized. So in HTML, you can do every functionality that you can have in Microsoft Word, but now for that, you need to have the right tag in place. James, any questions up to that?
No.
Okay, we can continue. Let me continue presenting my slides. So we have covered the H1 up to H6 headings, and I've written it in the notes so you can make a clarification there, and also the p tags. So we want to do another thing extra. Let us try to use the image tag first of all. So for the image tag, this is the tag that we'll be using, img src, and then I'll describe what we're doing here. So we'll go back to our editor. You can see time has really gone. Yeah, we are almost wrapping up. Sorry for keeping you. So we can use the img tag, and this tag normally has a link for the image that we want to target. So if I had an image, I'll put the link here. And finally, we have the alt attribute. So alt is a replacement for the image. So if the image didn't load very well, we can use this alt to notify the user that there was an image there. So let me put alt as cut and have a cut image, and I'll close this. So what you can do, you can find an image. Let me search for something in the browser, like cut image. I'll go to images, and I'll pick you need to copy the image address. Yeah. So I can copy the image address and put it in my src. So the src is the link of the image that you want to display, and then we can now refresh our website and see if the image loads. So we can see the image of the cat there. Yeah, so if this image didn't load very well, then the alt attribute will have notified the user that we had the image of the cat. So what I'll do, I'll just remove the link. remove the cut image link from this tag. Like that. So we have the image with no link, and then if we refresh, you see there's an issue with the image, so the user will be notified that here is supposed to be an image. So I'm sure you have seen this in some browsers when maybe the internet is not very nice, it's like slow. So that is what normally happens. So another thing that we learn is the anchor tag, which is normally called the link. So we'll do a very quick look at that. So let's say A, and instead of now having the src for the link, we'll use href for the anchor tag, and I'll direct my user to google.com. So I can close the link, and I'll tell them to click here. Remember the tags normally closes and open. So let's go back to our website and refresh. And you can see we have a link here. So if you click on that link, you should be directed to Google. So that's how you normally place links inside your web browser. Another thing, you saw that the link directs us within the same tab. So what if we wanted that link to take us to another tab? So we'll use another attribute here called the target. So we write target, then is equals, you'll put underscore blank. But everything here is in the notes. You can just follow up at your own pace. So when you put target underscore blank, if you click on that link, it will open up in another tab. So that's how we do. And then finally, to the last action item. We're going to cover the lists. So you can write lists in your browser, and for this we have two types of lists. We have an ordered and ordered list. So an ordered list normally displays things in forms of bullet points. So you can see we have item 1 and item 2. For ordered list, it normally uses number. So this is how you use the unordered list, and let us create one of it here. So I want to create a list of fruits. So I can use the unordered list, is the UL tag. And when you open a tab, you need to close it. So you can have the first item in the list and make sure that you close that. You can say there are apples. And then you can just copy that to save on time. And let's say bananas. Yeah, so we can refresh our website here. You can see we have the unordered list. So you use the UL tag for unordered list. So if you wanted them to be ordered, you just use the other form of tag, which is the OL tag. So that is the only difference. And we can just refresh our browser, and you can see the type of list. So I can see time has really gone, and we had a section on tables, but the notes are very easy to understand. So these are simple way of creating tables. So I just copy so that you can see it. So if you wanted to create a table of students together with their age, this is the command that you'll have used. So first of all, you have the table tag. And then we have the table row, table height, and table data. So let me just refresh and do a comparison. So you can see we have name and age, the student and their age. So we have Alice and Bob. So what we are using here is the table tag, but inside we need to use the table rows and the table data. One other thing that you can do to make the table more better, you can add a border. So you can say a border of 10, and we can just refresh our page there, and you can see our table has started forming. Yeah, so also with the table, we can add another feature called cell padding, and we can give it some values there. Notice how this table looks like. When you refresh, it becomes bigger. So you can alter with the table and present your data in other formats. Yeah, so maybe we can do some questions. We have some assignments here for the web design class. They're very basic. Tomorrow we're going to do CSS so that you can see how we can style our websites. Yeah, so the first project is for you to create a portfolio. So you'll create a title for your webpage, call it About Me, and you can create a heading for yourself, a short paragraph, what you have learned. Put your image as a profile and list some of your hobbies using the unordered list. Create a table to show your schedules and skills and a link of your favorite website. And finally, try to use the section and footer tags by doing a small research. And then you have another process that you can create your own timetable. Yes, so maybe we can have a short question and answer session before we wrap it up. Hi, James, any questions?
Yes, Robin Mora. Yeah, thank you very much. And this is very useful. I just followed, but there is a point I lost. The point where you were, I had my notepad, and the place where you were programming, you said I placed them together. So that is where I got it. But I've been following what you have been doing throughout. So if I see the where I program and where it shows, then maybe I can try to do what you are doing.
Okay, thank you so much, Roslyn. Yeah, I understand it will be a little bit hard for you to kind of follow through when we are doing it. Yeah, but I've actually done the recording so that you guys can be repeating it over and over again. Yeah. Yes, it's good you are able to follow through. Any other question?
Are you able to just that point where you share two
I show it now?
that's
Okay, just a minute. Hi, Brenda, you have a question? Hello, Brenda. Oh, someone rose their hand.
Sorry, I had muted. Question is,
Yes.
do we have like that? What is the criteria?
Predefined way of using the tags.
Yeah, for instance,
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Okay, that's question. That's a good question. Yeah. So basically, all these tags are predefined. So the main reason I know the right tag to use is because I know if I wanted to do a paragraph, then P is a predefined tag for HTML programming. Yeah. So it takes a little bit of practice, but they are very they are available resources online as well as according to my PowerPoint slides. Um, maybe if I can share something here. So you see on this slide, we are saying headings and paragraphs. So for you to write headings and paragraph, the only tags that you'll use is H and P tags. So after now understanding that, it will be easy for you to know when you can apply it. Is that okay, Brenda? Yeah, it depends with the content that you're writing. Yeah, but basically this is the foundation of everything. Most of the tags will fall within this. If you want to link the website, you use the A tag. If you want to maybe put an image, you'll use the AMG tag. It never changes. Okay, okay, yeah, sure. I'll also attach some other materials in this slide before we share. Okay, okay. Roslyn, is this okay? This is the point that you... Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, I get it. Oh, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Okay, so for the people who are using Notepad, it's a little bit more disadvantageous because when you're using Visual Studio Code, it normally auto-completes for you. But Notepad also does the work done. I don't know if I can show an example. Let me just do a basic one with Notepad. Yeah, let me just, I'll just delete everything here and open it with Notepad. Yeah, because they're actually the same, but for Notepad, you'll need to write a lot. Yeah, so I'm opening Notepad very quickly. So I'll edit with my Notepad. And it's opened. So notice we have a blank website. So I can start now. I know my font will be small. Oh, make it bigger. So with the Notepad, it's just the same thing. Doc type. You remember that's the first thing that we write. Doc type HTML. And we close it. And we had the HTML tag. It's still working on the Notepad. But here you need to type everything because the browser normally completes some things. Then I can go to head. We said we need to have head where we normally put the title. And to make it clear for you, I'll put a title. Let me call it another title. And now for Notepad, you need to save. You need to save. You save first of all, and then you refresh. And you notice, sorry, I put the exclamation mark wrongly. And you notice, sorry?
Where are those two windows coming from?
Oh, this is my Notepad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me just open it. So remember you have the index.html.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah? Just double click on that.
Yeah.
And it will open it in the browser. So the first one is the browser.
Mm-hmm.
So let me put it so that you can see. So that is the browser, yeah?
Yeah.
That is the first window, okay?
Yeah.
And then I'll edit it. I'll edit the same thing with my notepad. So I'll right click, my laptop is loading, and then I'll click on edit with a notepad or open it with a notepad. So this is the second window that we opened. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah, just like that. And you see it has the content of the files that we were using.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So you can try to experiment, but I'll share the recording so that you can be able to follow along easily.
Okay.
Okay, so for tomorrow's session, we'll be looking at styling. Yeah, so we'll just use the same files that we have been using, and by that we mean we can put our images very well and try to make our website more appealing. So thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Yeah, someone called Mercy says thanks a lot, or more practice is needed. Yeah, true. Yeah, but this is a basic step. The basic steps are always the important ones. So thank you so much and have a blessed evening.